Do you disagree that you've had problems?
The recent confrontation between U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House has sparked intense reactions worldwide. As the two leaders engaged in a heated exchange over Ukraine's war with Russia, political analysts, media outlets, and citizens across various countries weighed in on the implications of the dispute. Let's dive into EU and see how public has reacted to the heated debate.
The support from the US, of course, we are not capable enough in Europe alone, so, well, we don't know what will happen. I mean, I think the situation for Ukraine is quite difficult. Now Putin has the support from US, so we don't know what will happen. Probably they will get a very bad treat. So, and probably Putin will win the war at the end. Who is gambling with this third war? I think it's Trump, of course.
Trump and Putin is the leader of the game. I think it would be difficult for Ukraine. I think Trump is very emotionally so. One time he said so, the other day the other opinion. So I cannot, I don't trust him. Yes, but Zelensky will fight against Russia. They occupied countries, so he has to react. I think. No, I don't choose this opinion with the Third World War.
Well, it's hard for the Ukrainians. Then we see that it was a proxy war from the start, and that the Americans used it to confront the Russians. And now they're changing their minds. Peace could have been made a long time ago if the Europeans and the Americans had the political will to do so. And all this has served to the Americans to sell a lot of arms. And it bodes ill for the future that all the peoples of Europe, the states, are heavily armed like that by now.
Trump-Zelenskiy debate implications were far-stretched. People from Italy, France and Poland also reacted to the happening.
Hello, welcome to ABC News. I'm Lorna Dunkley. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has left the White House early after a bitter exchange with US President Donald Trump. The two leaders were speaking ahead of a planned bilateral meeting when the conversation devolved into an extraordinary verbal spat.
On February 28, President Donald Trump and visiting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky engaged in an intense argument in front of the media. The two sides had originally planned to hold a joint press conference after their meeting and sign a minerals agreement. However, the joint press conference was cancelled, and the agreement has yet to be signed. The words of Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky in the Oval Office still resonate this morning. Be grateful you are playing with a third world war. Find an agreement, otherwise we will abandon you. The main story is dedicated to the clash between Trump and Zelensky. The headline reads, Trump shouts and breaks with Zelensky, live TV confrontation at the White House. The U.S. leader reportedly told him, get out and come back when you're ready. La Repubblica speaks of an ambush against Zelensky, highlighting that the Kremlin is celebrating while European leaders, the United States, and Italian Prime Minister Meloni emphasize unity and reject division. The key word appearing in La Repubblica is ambush. Il Sole 24 reports, Trump expels Zelensky. You're playing with World War III. This is one of the statements along with other insults made by U.S. President Donald Trump towards Ukrainian President Zelensky. The reactions were immediate, starting from the very first moments when the video of their meeting in the Oval Office at the White House was broadcast worldwide. Il Sole 24 also writes that Europe stands by Kyiv, while Moscow reacts sharply, calling it finally a slap. Moving on to La Stampa, the chosen headline is The War of Nerves. The accompanying photo coverage emphasizes the importance of nonverbal communication, with various moments of these tense minutes captured in images published across Italian and international newspapers. Finally, Illinois Masagro headlines with "The Slap to Zelensky," describing the incident as an ugly reality show that took place in the Oval Office, highlighting its theatrical and media-driven aspects.
Moving inside Seoul, Sydney, we saw a divided stance over the clash.
I had a lot of expectations from Trump that he became the president. But today I listened to his talk with Zelensky. I felt like he was a little bit rude to Zelensky, and he treats security issues as commercial ones. Then I felt it shouldn't be done that way.
If a country has no power or is useless, it gets out of the alliance. The U.S. does not step up for everything these days. The interest of the country is first, so our country needs to be stronger economically and also needs nuclear. That is what I think.
With the election of Trump, I think a lot of my anxiety got lower, and I think I'm a little bit more relieved because I think North Korea and Trump have a good relationship. So I think the war is probably not going to happen.
But my opinion is that Zelensky was very self-opinionated, the fact that America hasn't helped them, but where America has helped them for a long, long time. I can't say what's going to come out of it, to be truthful, in the end, but I think something more has to happen before this finally does come to an end. But it's just crazy, the fact that Zelensky, he basically rejected the fact that anybody was helping me, and he seemed very ungrateful.
I'm hoping for the best. I'm not sure at all about that. I'm just hoping for the best. We're a bit helpless here, aren't we? We can't really, we haven't got a strong hold over him by any means.
Public political execution, a new edge in modern diplomacy. This is how world media report on the humiliating expulsion of Zelensky from the White House. The meeting ended unexpectedly. Zelensky was thrown out of the White House. The planned dinner and press conferences did not happen. Trump, meanwhile, faced the media to tell who, according to him, really wants war and who wants peace.
We were right to help Ukraine and sanction Russia 3 years ago, and to keep doing so. By we, I mean the Americans, the Europeans, the Canadians, the Japanese, and many others.
French President Emmanuel Macron said in a post on social media website, X, in their own posts on the platform, leaders from countries such as Canada, Latvia, and Denmark said they stood with Ukraine. Zelensky had seen the meeting in the Oval Office as an opportunity to convince the United States not to side with Russian President Vladimir Putin, who ordered the invasion of Ukraine 3 years ago. Instead, Trump and U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance laid into Zelensky, saying he showed disrespect, driving relations with Kyiv's most important wartime ally to a new low. Historic scandal, diplomatic train wreck, horrifying spectacle, Zelensky's fail. This is how world media described the meeting between Donald Trump and the head of the Kyiv regime in the White House. This is news story number 1. Nobody has ever seen anything like it. Instead of filing the deal, they got into an enraging verbal brawl. Then Zelensky was shown to the door. Concluding our video, it is to note that the heated clash between Trump and Zelensky has deepened geopolitical divides, shaking U.S. Ukraine relations and fueling global debate. While European leaders reaffirmed support for Kyiv, public reactions remain split, some criticizing Zelensky's stance, others condemning Trump's hostility. Russia, meanwhile, sees the fallout as a diplomatic win. Described as a historic scandal, this dispute underscores the fragility of international alliances and raises uncertainty over Ukraine's future in the war.